Coming up in today's show, Xbox talks about why they weren't at the Game Awards. We have some new details on Armored Core 6, and I've got some fun guests here. What's good, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the What's Good Games podcast, your source for video game news, commentary, analysis, and funny stuff every Friday. I'm Andrea Renee, joined by Mrs. Riana Manuel-Pena.
What's good, Andrea?
What's good? I want to give a shout out to your hair because people keep mentioning it in the comments that they like the buns.
Thank you.
The pom-poms, the puffs, there's lots of names for them.
I appreciate that. I think space buns is kind of like
I
what
like
we tend to be
space
going
buns.
with. Yeah, I don't know why space came into the equation, but this is my lazy hair. This is what I do when it's almost wash day.
Well, if that's your lazy hair, then I clearly need to up my lazy hair game. And for podcast listeners, I do want to give a nod to the fantastic black scrunchies that she's got in her hair. Because scrunchies have made a very big comeback.
Oh, yeah.
Also, welcome to the show, founder and host of GamerTagRadio, Danny Peña is here.
Thank you, and I hope everybody loves my hair too.
Aw.
But thanks. This has been now the second time that I've been at the end of the year.
Yes.
Right?
You guys both did our end of year shows last year. Remember where I got you guys the sparkle jackets?
That was fun. We were both still employed by G4.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
What
Wow.
a difference a year makes.
We
Rest
weren't
in
yet
peace.
married, and we didn't have a house yet.
Yes.
Look at that. Some big milestones.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say let's focus on the incredibly positive big
Yeah.
milestones for you guys. Congratulations again
Thank you.
on both the house and the marriage. Sounds like both are going well.
They are.
Oh yeah, and also got her a brand new gaming PC.
Gaming PC. That's
Yes,
truly
welcome. Finally.
truly the milestone of the year. I am now a PC gamer. I am excited to
I'm not
join
gonna
the
lie,
club.
I'm so excited about
You
that.
just are excited to use it for yourself, admit it.
No, I have my own. I'm excited for her to use it because I want her to create more content and work stuff. So
Yeah.
And
so I
plus
can give him
play
his
some
extra
games.
laptop back, so I'm
Yeah.
not playing on that.
Yeah, exactly.
So for our video watchers at youtube.com/whatsgoodgames, I think this means that we're going to have less desyncing problems. And that has been an ongoing issue for our video. And at the end of it, I just started to let it go because I was like,
Yes.
we can't keep fixing
It's
it.
all good.
Thank
So
you, everyone, for your patience.
You know that's how it is with podcasts. You start,
Yeah.
like that, and then you get better. That's
Oh, if you go back and look at some of the first episodes of What's Good Games from 2017, they are rough, man.
really. It was that rough.
Oh, yes. I mean,
And-
lots of
and
technical problems.
I'm in shock because you've always been on point.
Oh, yeah,
with,
absolutely.
Like camera and audio and everything.
So that's the thing, is that my background is in video production.
Mhm.
And when we started a podcast, I really had to lean on our quote unnamed producer, which people now know is my husband, John Drake, who was a part owner in a recording studio, a professional musician, and worked for this little company called Harmonix that made one of the biggest music franchises of all time called
Yeah.
Rock Band.
No big
Right,
deal.
so he has a little bit of experience when it comes to audio and music and sound recording. And so I was like, please help me, because this is like a giant gap in my knowledge of technical production. And even as a producer, I wasn't always the lead doing video production, but it was where my expertise was and where my training was. And so for podcasts, it took us a long time to work out the kinks, because turns out recording equipment is one of the holdouts when it comes to analog hardware. And doing hardware from traditional microphones, like we have a Shure SM7B, which is kind of a gold standard podcast and studio recording mic as well. John always likes to tell people it's the microphone that Michael Jackson recorded the Thriller album on. The cable, which is called an XLR cable that goes into these microphones, does not play nice with computers. It plays nicer today in 2022.
Not back then.
Even in 2017, very much did not play nice. And there was a lot of very challenging workarounds to get these microphones to work with our computer on the budget that we had. That's the kicker, that there's some really great pieces of equipment that you can buy if you have a lot of money that make this technology and this hardware work with a computer interface. But we weren't about to drop like $50,000 on a fucking soundboard. So also we had just launched and we were like, maybe someone doesn't want to listen to this podcast after the month after we launch. We don't know. And so it's come a long way.
Yes.
Since then, technology is much better today. Even just Elgato as a brand has really evolved with us and our show, which is really interesting looking at some of the tech that we had when we started to where we're at now. And I'm very excited that this is our last live show, but I'm excited that our next live show is going to be when I'm going to be heading to CES, the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. And we're getting special guest Paris Lilly on the show afterwards because I know he's a big tech guy.
I'm not here. I'm going far away.
Wow.
That guy.
I'm going far away.
But I don't mean to digress. We're here to talk about video games. We'll talk more about CES and, Danny's feud with Paris in January. Thank you to this month's Patreon producers, Chewy, Godson, Alex Rigopulos, Faris Attieh, Justin Foshee, and Punkdefied. And welcome to our Patreon community, Brent Muse. If you want to help support What's Good Games, you can do so at patreon.com/whatsgoodgames, where you can check out our pledge offerings. And sometimes, you get the podcast early. You'll get some sneak peeks, some behind-the-scenes stuff. We'd like to sprinkle a little things in there from time to time.
Yeah, thanks for sticking around, y'all. We really appreciate it. It makes a huge difference.
And, you're supporting your favorite podcast or your favorite content creators, so go for it.
Because while the show is free, this stuff isn't.
Turns out all that technology I was just talking about costs a lot of money even now.
This mic is not cheap.
No. But we did invest in these in the very beginning, and they're still the same microphone that our patrons back in 2017 helped us fund. Yeah. So thank you so much to everybody who's been with us and supporting our voices. This week's show is also brought to you by Honey, but I'll tell you about that later. Let's talk about the very weak news that is out. And I say weak because obviously the Game Awards 2022 happened last week. All of us were there. You guys hopefully saw our Game Awards reaction episode. We, of course, didn't get to everything that happened in the show, and so we're going to talk about a couple things this week because there's not really any other news than Game Awards-related things. First off, Xbox has addressed their lack of Game Awards presence and promises incredibly exciting 2023. So before I even read the response from Xbox, which is, a pretty standard response, I was surprised that so many people called out Xbox for not having a bigger presence at the show. I guess I didn't think anything of it.
I didn't expect them to have a huge presence, but I did anticipate something, right? Like we have games that I'm excited for, like Redfall. We have, things on the horizon that we know are coming in that 12-month window from the Xbox Bethesda showcase that we saw back in May. So I did expect maybe a handful of moments or mentions or maybe some third-party like trailers or like gameplay preview, something. But I wasn't upset that they weren't there. Like I think that that reaction was a little bit different from mine. I'll say it that way.
I mean, if you go back to 2019, what was like the big thing that happened in 2019 with Xbox? Do you remember?
In 2019?
2019. That's when they showed the Xbox Series X for the first time. Okay. And they showed Hellblade too.
Oh,
so you remember that?
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah. And what was it they showed last year? And also we got to see Perfect Dark.
Last year was Perfect Dark, wasn't it?
I think that was.
I can't remember. It was last year. Go double check. But I know they did show gameplay of Hellblade 2. So everybody's expecting, oh man, 2023 is going to be the year. I mean, if you go back to summer of this year, they showed us games that's coming out for the next 12 months, right? I mentioned this on Twitter.
Halo the TV series first trailer was last year.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean it's a TV series.
Hellblade was last year. Hellblade 2 was last year.
Yeah. And I mean, but also they showed a trailer right after they showed the Xbox Series X announcement. Because I remember that. I remember I was going crazy when I got to see that. But anyways, this year I thought they were going to show something, a game with a date or something, right? Because they've been hyping it up. We have so much content coming up in 2023. I've been hearing more news about FTC, Activision.
Yeah.
Call of Duty is an exclusive now, more than games that's coming out next year. And it's frustrating because like I get it, that's the business side, but as a gamer, as a consumer, like I want to hear what's coming the next 12 months. They need to show us content, man. Like we've been having the consoles now for the past couple years. We want to see games now next gen only. We haven't seen that yet. I know PlayStation, same thing. They've been releasing games for both
That's a
both
fair
consoles.
caveat talking about next gen only. I think we're finally at that point in the generation where we are going to start seeing Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5 only games because that's where we need to be. Even this week, there was an announcement from the Hogwarts Legacy team that the PS5 and Xbox One version of the game is now delayed. Unsurprisingly, that game looks like it's being tailored for the current gen, and these older gen systems are just, they're old. I know it sounds weird to say that
they're
out
not
loud,
as powerful.
but technology moves really fast, and I equate it to the conversation I had with somebody about the smartphone technology and how that moves even faster. And no one's thinking, okay, I take that back because definitely somebody is thinking it, but the vast majority of tech users who use smartphones daily for work purposes, and I say that specifically because if you're just a casual phone user and you don't do multimedia, you probably don't even need a smartphone in the first place, but people who do aren't talking about things that they use apps not being supported for like iPhone 10. I mean, we're on iPhone 14 now.
Yeah.
And it's like that's all people think about is like the iPhone 13, of course, because it was just the last gen, and maybe even iPhone 12, but I mean, generations before that, 2 years ago, it's obsolete tech.
Yeah, after
as
a couple
far
years,
as like
you've
new
moved
software is concerned. So I think that is such a big difference between video games and other mediums. So
look, I was sitting down with Paris. We were at the Game Awards, sitting down right in the middle of the awards, and I'm like, all right, let's see when is going to be the next Xbox announcement. Time's been passing by, and I looked at him like, I think nothing is popping up. I think it's not going to happen this year, man.
Oh, while you were watching the show, you were waiting for like a big first party thing.
Yeah, because here's the thing, and even shout out to Mike and Paris and Gary from SCAS. They had a conversation a couple of weeks ago. You know that Xbox never had a Game of the Year contender at the Game Awards.
They haven't.
0. Huh. They have never won a Game of the Year game.
Maybe that has something to do with it, though. In Jeff Keighley, the executive producer's defense, he's not on the jury.
No. But
he doesn't influence the jury whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's 100% the jury.
Yeah, but the reason I'm saying this is because, we've been getting Forza Horizon. There's a couple games that has stood out a lot, but they need to come back strong in 2023. Especially now with Starfield and all these games that's coming out this year.
Well, I think Starfield will for sure be a Game of the Year contender.
I hope. I really hope.
What do you mean you hope?
Because look, we've been in that in the past with like Cyberpunk and other games. We were like, oh my god, super excited, and it comes out and it's not really. Now Cyberpunk is really good now,
Sure.
right? But I just hope that everything comes out great. And it's great.
I appreciate your optimism. I am very confident Bethesda Game Studios, as a development team, is going to deliver. They're going to over-deliver on Starfield. I mean, this is a game that's been in development for, 7 years? I don't think that this game is going to flop. I really do not. I really don't think. I don't think Bethesda Game Studios as a team has had a flop.
I don't think it'll flop, but I do think there's something to be said for going so early in the year. Like we saw with Elden Ring, for most of 2022, everyone knew for sure that's the winner, right? That's Game of the Year. That's the only thing that's worth talking about. And then Ragnarok comes along and just like in the game changes everything.
But that game was incredible.
Exactly. But it's also more recent in our memory.
It's most recent. So everybody's going to think about that.
Yeah, but Elden Ring still won.
Game of the Year, but the majority of the game.
They also won Best Game Direction.
Sure.
So we can talk about this if you want right now.
Okay.
Because we mentioned it a little bit on our React show, but I am convinced the reason why Elden Ring didn't win more individual categories is that it didn't fit into individual categories, right? There was some that it could have, right?
Yes.
Obviously, like art direction as a category, it could have won.
Yes.
Score and music as a category, it could have won. But best performance,
Not really.
No, there's no protagonist, right? You're a silent protagonist in that game.
The cat from Stray. That's it. That's why.
Murtaugh, say his name.
Sorry.
I mean, I still think that God of War Ragnarok should have won Game of the Year because I think it's a superior game, which we're not going to get into now. But obviously, Elden Ring is a phenomenal game as well for different reasons.
Very different, yes.
And so I don't truly think the release date matters because if you think of The Legend of Zelda, even just back to their most recent release, Breath of the Wild, that came out in March, and it had no problem dominating every single category.
I mean, wasn't there any competition that year? I don't remember.
2021?
No, that was 2017 when Breath of the Wild came out.
Oh, Breath of the Wild.
I'm pretty sure it was 2017. Let me double check.
Yeah, when the Switch came out. But I'm wondering, like, was there any... I'm trying to think if there was any major competition that year. I don't remember.
Yes, there was. 2017, I believe, was also the year that Horizon Forbidden Dawn launched.
Oh, that's a great game. Yeah, great game. Yeah. And by the way, I want to mention something about that game, about the most recent game.
Sure.
Horizon
Forbidden West.
Yes, Forbidden West.
Oh, did I say Forbidden Dawn? Zero Dawn?
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Look, we've been drinking, okay, guys? So it's okay. No, so what I was going to say, I was watching the trailer of the new expansion that's coming out, the new DLC or whatever, right? And at the end, there was no PlayStation 4 logo. It was all PS5, and I was like, huh.
Yeah,
good, as it should be.
I see what.
We're moving on.
I see you, Sony. That's how you do it.
We're moving on.
Gotta move on. Gotta move on.
You do.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just want to say that real quick. But can I say something very quick about the Xbox?
Of course you
game?
can. Oh, Super Mario Odyssey was also.
I've been drinking.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
okay.
oh my God, that's a really good game too.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo kill it.
All right, fair point. March may not be too early, but I still think it is a tall order to ask people to remember how much they love a game that long.
Can I say something?
You know what's a taller order before Danny says his thing?
Sure.
Is asking people to remember a game that came out in December that is qualified for the next year.
For the following year.
Yes.
So this has been something that people have talked about with the Game Awards since
100%.
their inception, that either Jeff moves the awards to January so he can include games that come out in the full calendar year like every other award show that exists in other mediums.
Right.
Or he has to move it as late in December as he can. But the real problem for members of the jury, as we are, What's Good Games is a member of the jury, is that even if they move it back, there's only so much time we usually get with those games that come late. And that was a big thing that happened with Pokemon this year.
Yeah.
That with Violet and Scarlet, and people are like, why didn't Pokemon get more nominations? And it was like, because we didn't have code in time for the deadlines that we needed it for.
Right.
And this was a buggy mess.
Oh,
well,
that's
besides the point.
Hold on, that aside.
No, so I was gonna say this. I'm disappointed, of course, not seeing announcements from Xbox. But can I mention? Look, IGN. There was a couple other media outlets out there.
You can mention whatever you want.
You know
on
what?
this show,
Ryan
Danny.
McCaffrey.
Oh,
super
we love
cool.
you, Ryan.
I love Ryan. Ryan.
One of the industry's best.
Yes.
Also had great shoes on at the Game Awards. If people didn't see, he had
fuzzy shoes.
They're made out of that Sherpa coat material. It was amazing.
Look, me and Ryan, we go way back. Early days, Xbox Magazine, all that stuff, man. So shout out to him. But I was disappointed seeing his article. Very disappointed. I didn't like the headline. It was like, to me, it was just too much saying Xbox basically slapped to the face to all the fans for not having announcement at the Game Awards. And look, there's reasons why Xbox probably decided not to have game announcements at the Game Awards.
Clearly, of course, if they had something, they would have.
I have a theory because I've seen the tweets from a couple of the Xbox team online. I think they're probably going to have kind of like the Nintendo Direct, like Inside Xbox throughout the whole year because they have so much content. They probably want to save those announcements for their own events, So I think it makes more sense. Plus, it could be maybe because of budget. There could be totally different reasons. Instead of investing that money on the Game Awards, put it on something else. Maybe have like a in-person event, having fans in there, maybe, or different reasons. That's my theory. But still, disappointed I didn't have any announcements at the Game Awards. You like my theory though?
I mean, I don't necessarily agree that they're holding it. I think that maybe their teams just don't have anything ready. I mean, we have talked on this show multiple times that preparing a trailer, any kind of marketing asset, a game demo, literally anything, screenshots even.
Yes.
It takes time away from the game developers developing the game. And not every team has a separate marketing production team that can create these assets. A lot of times it is the development team who has to create them. And they maybe just looked at their slate and said, let's just sit out this one. They obviously are under a lot of pressure right now with this FTC stuff that's happening with the Activision Blizzard merger that is now under intense scrutiny, and there's a lawsuit being filed, and maybe they were like, we don't need any more press on us at this moment. Our team is overwhelmed. We just need to like take a step back.
That's the basis of my theory. If legal comes knocking on the door, no matter how excited you are, no matter how close you are to maybe having a marketing asset ready, you don't say anything if legal says stay quiet.
I don't know if it's because of that. I don't know.
We don't.
We don't know. None of us know.
None of us know.
None of us know.
This is all speculation.
Because here's the thing. If they announce back in June, there's all the games that's coming out in the next 12 months, from June to June of 2023. What was the reason for that then? You get what I'm saying? Like, there was games there. They could easily show a trailer. Let's say Redfall. Let's make believe.
Not easily.
Not easily, but
could have.
But yes, they could have.
They could have. They showed gameplay for a very long time. Gameplay at the showcase back in June.
As they should.
They could easily. Actually, you know what? The showcase was all gameplay that they showed.
Yeah, mostly.
I think it was like
80 to 90 teaser that was not.
Yeah,
gameplay.
80 to 90% of the stuff that they showed back in June was all gameplay. So easily they could say. Again, I know it's not easy.
The word easily is tough.
They could show a game and say, hey, and show a date, and that's it. Or just a short trailer and a date.
Some dates would be great, but if they don't have dates.
I know.
It's impossible.
I know.
Okay, I'm going to cut this off because we're just going around and round in circles. So basically what they said, Xbox executive Aaron Greenberg, friend of the show, shout out to Aaron. He's a real one, a good one.
Yes.
He says, I appreciate folks are eager to learn and see more. Timing is always key, but don't worry. You will not have to wait too long for what's next from us.
They're having their own events. I'm telling you.
That would be very exciting. And the Xbox Bethesda showcase was an incredible moment. I don't think we ever got public release numbers for how that was received, but I like a world where we get consistent updates across the calendar year from different publishers and different, console manufacturers. But I do like a good focused moment like the Game Awards or like an E3 where we know we're going to have to get ready to stay up all night writing stories.
Focused moments are the best.
I like both. To be clear, I like both.
But look, Nintendo.
We're not going to keep. We can't.
No, we're not.
Despite the fact that we don't have a lot to talk about, we do need to move on. With the story.
Just very quick.
Okay.
Nintendo Direct. Nintendo does it with Nintendo Direct.
Those
and
work
Sony.
Great.
Throughout the year,
State of Plays.
Xbox could do the same for next year if they have so much content coming up. So we can.
And they have a new team ready to take that challenge on. So I wish them luck. I hope it's exciting and it's soon.
Yeah, and I know Phil's probably tired of talking about Call of Duty exclusive, not. So yeah, just want to say that.
Seems like you should talk to his marketing team about that.
I know,
all right. Horizon Forbidden West has a story expansion coming called Burning Shores, something that we did not talk about during our Game Awards reaction show that we are excited about.
Yes.
And it's coming in April, which is very exciting. According to Game Informer, Aloy is going to the ruins of fallen Los Angeles, which we obviously saw in the trailer at the Game Awards. It showed off iconic Hollywood sign, which somehow survived largely intact for centuries, which is impressive, as well as the awakening of the massive machine slumbering beneath it. It's unknown what threat Aloy is facing or if the expansion will immediately address the Forbidden West wild ending, which we're not going to talk about here. We never did a spoiler cast for that. We should do that.
Oh, yeah.
Probably because Brittany never finished it. That's right, Britt. I'm calling you out. Ooh, calling you out, Brittany.
Oh,
I never mentioned the fact that Brittany's not here. She's on early vacation for the holidays. Hopefully she's having a Mai Tai and enjoying her time, relaxing in the sun. But players won't have to wait terribly long because April 19th is the release date, and it's going to be a PlayStation 5 exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it appears to be anyway.
Allegedly.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so you mentioned at the bottom of the trailer, it only has the marketing logo for PlayStation 5. I'm ready for that. And
Me too.
I understand that there are a lot of folks who don't have that console in particular of this current generation. That is the hardest one to find. It's a tough sell. It's not come down in price. In fact, it's gone up in some cases. And it is really challenging to have that experience. But I am glad that we're finally at a place where we're able to say, okay, hey, these experiences that we're creating, they work best here. We've optimized it for this platform. This is where we want you to play it. This is our vision, and it's time to keep moving forward in the console generation. I'm on board.
Yeah, I think it's time to move on.
Agreed.
Honestly.
Yeah.
We can't be stuck.
It's hard.
No,
it's time.
look, I get it. Not everybody has the money to buy the new consoles, but I mean, if you go to like the old days of gaming, hey, I remember those days when I'm like, oh man, I want to buy a PlayStation or a Nintendo 64, and I couldn't afford it, and I had to continue playing with my old games until I finally could afford the new console. So hey, it's so just want to say that real quick.
Yeah, of course. It's expensive to always get into new technology, that's for sure, which is why it's great that there's so many free-to-play games available across so many systems.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
And our final news item of the week is that we got some details via an exclusive interview at IGN about Armored Core 6. So this, of course, was one of the biggest announcements at the Game Awards from Software. They are returning to the Armored Core series. And spoilers, in case you didn't already know, it's not going to play like a Soulsborne game. So if you are unfamiliar with Armored Core and it wasn't apparent from the trailer that came out, you're not going to be swinging a giant-ass sword around because you're in a mech. And it's not going to be open world. It's going to be mission-based like previous Armored Core games have been. And there's a whole bunch of other details in the exclusive interview over at IGN, but Eurogamer writes that Miyazaki and Yamamura, the two leads on the project, and they also in this interview discuss how Miyazaki is actually taking a step back from Armored Core 6 and that Yamamura is going to be leading the project. Discuss some details of the game and addressed preconceptions. This is an interesting idea. Preconceptions that people might have about it due to the fact that people have this idea of who From Software is as a studio in their mind from, Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, the Soulsborne games, as you will. Miyazaki stated that we've not been making a conscious effort to try and direct it towards a Soulsborne type gameplay. Instead, he said the studio has focused on the core concept of Armored Core as a series, using the experience of developing games from other series in that franchise. For context, the most recent Armored Core was Verdict Day back in 2013. And Miyazaki told IGN, this is more than just a market improvement over Armored Core 5. It offers more parts, more maps, new missions, while expanding the already tight mechanics with an AI crafting system, an overhauled online mode that encapsulates what Armored Core does best: options, creativity, strategy, and teamwork. It's unashamedly hardcore, and all the better for it. So
Well,
at least that part of their design aesthetic has not changed. So prepare your loins for another conversation about accessibility in video games once Armored Core 6 comes out.
And this is also going to be not only in the current gen, but also previous gen too, because they showed all the logos.
That seems like a mistake.
Huge mistake in my opinion. I was like, oh man,
unless that game's ready to come out next year.
This looks beautiful. Like the trailer where they're showing, I was like, oh man, this is like from next gen. And then I saw the end of the trailer. I'm like, oh, Xbox One, PlayStation 4.
That's honestly concerning. I did not see that.
That is a bit of a concern.
That's right at the end.
I mean, if it's been in development or at least pre-development since 2013, like maybe they're able to cobble together some past gen version of it, but
or the game is coming out really soon,
or it's right around the corner, and we know for a fact that it'll just look better on Xbox Series XS and PlayStation.
And everybody just needs to lower their expectations that it's not going to be the next Elden Ring.
Right.
No, it's not.
That's going to be Armored Core.
Yeah.
It's going to be mechs and mech fighting and mech customization.
The
tinkering.
crowd, I mean, being there when they made the announcement, it was really cool to hear like the fans going crazy with like the announcement and everything.
I'm not sure if those fans were excited because it was Armored Core, or were they excited because it's another From game?
I think it was both.
I don't think they were excited because it was Armored Core, because we didn't know it was Armored Core.
Right.
I
already gave my criticisms of that piece of marketing material in the Game Awards Reacts episode, but
Yes.
I think that people are, admittedly, and they should be, excited about From Software as a studio. You know,
That's great. They've earned it.
The trailer presentation on stage, Jeff Keighley talked about how they are an innovative studio creating and pushing the boundaries of what gamers are experiencing in video games gameplay-wise. And he's not wrong. They absolutely are, 100%. I am just going to reiterate that would appreciate it if they did a little bit more work in accessibility.
I mean, 100% I agree with you with that. But there is a hardcore cult following of this game. Like, the series overall, for sure.
There's nothing wrong with being a hardcore game.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can't also make your game accessible and hardcore.
I mean,
have you heard of a little game called Celeste?
They need to step up with that.
Text bigger and colorblind mode, it does not make it less hardcore.
Yeah, exactly.
Just going to call that out.
But that's just really the news so far for this week, because we are recording a little bit earlier because obviously the holidays are impending. And we're going to take a really short break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about what we've been playing. Stick with us. We'll see you in a minute. Today's episode is sponsored by PayPal Honey, the easiest way to save money when shopping on your iPhone or your computer. Now, if you're like me, you love doing holiday shopping for your friends and family. Picking out gifts for everybody is so much fun. And even though I love it, it still stresses me out, right? It stresses you out too. I know it does. Analysis paralysis takes over until you never actually make a decision. Things just stay in your cart forever. And then you have to pay to express ship everything. And it costs a fortune. Sound familiar? But listen, even if you're like Rihanna and you've already got all of your gifts with bows under trees or shipped out to people, save yourself some money by using Honey, because Honey is the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. Imagine you're shopping at one of your favorite sites, and then when you go to checkout, all you do is click that Honey button that appears, and that apply coupons magic happens. Honey searches the internet for coupons it can find for that specific site, and if it finds a working coupon, you can watch the prices drop. So let me tell you about a specific example. I just was shopping for flowers on one of my favorite websites, and the cart was like $98. I was like, oh my gosh, for a single bouquet of flowers. But by the time you add shipping and fees and everything, but then I clicked my apply coupons button from Honey, and it saved me $20, 20 whole dollars. I was super impressed, as I always am. As you guys know, I'm a big Honey user. I love Honey, and it's just so convenient to save money while you're shopping online, as we all like to do. And you can save even more when you ask Honey to keep track of price drops on your holiday shopping list. Or maybe you're going to be buying some furniture for your new house, or maybe you've got your eye on some gadgets that you want for your home office. Put it on your Honey shopping list, and they'll let you know when that price drops. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out, is basically what I'm trying to say. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this show. What's Good Games? So help us out, because, you know, we don't recommend things that we don't use, and I use Honey all the time. Get PayPal Honey for free by going to joinhoney.com/what'sgood. That's joinhoney.com/what'sgood, so that they know What's Good Games sent you. Let's talk about some video games we have been playing, and I want to call out Destiny 2, because Rihanna and I fire teamed up last weekend for an amazing stream on our Twitch channel. Thank you to everybody who came by our Game to Give and Bungie Foundation fundraiser for the Little Lights. We reached we surpassed our $2,000 goal, which was awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah. So thank you to all the What's Good Guardians who came out and everybody who was in chat. We had a great time, and it just reminds me how much I love playing Destiny.
Also streaming. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Joey Noel joined us from Kinda Funny. Love her. Big friend of the show. So thank you to Joey and to Whiskey, who played with us, and some of the other Guardians who joined us. Mm-hmm. Had a great time.
It was a really good time, and thank you again to anybody who donated, participated, tweeted, let people know we were streaming. Really appreciated it. It's going to make a huge difference for the little lights out there.
And
shout out to
that's my phone. The ring.
The ring.
Somebody's at the front door, everybody.
Yeah, but I popped up a couple times.
In the stream?
In the stream.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And what? You have thoughts? You have criticisms? What's that mean?
No, some technical
The technical difficulties.
Oh, you mean Rihanna's camera?
Yes.
Just
Danny's
disappearing?
camera.
Actually, that's my
Oh, yeah, that was your setup.
Yeah,
That's
that was my
right.
setup, yeah.
Oh, but, you know,
I
with
figured
this
out
new
what it
PC
was.
setup, hopefully we don't have to worry about that no
At all.
more.
I know why it happened, but you know,
Never
hey,
again.
look, as
Water
long as
under
you girls
the
have fun,
bridge. Yeah.
you girls have fun.
Oh, we had a great time.
It
raise
was.
money for a charity.
It was a great time. Very
I'm
excited
glad.
for Lightfall.
Yeah.
And now the dawning is underway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make all them cookies. Lightfall's coming next year early.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
It's gonna be great. Yeah.
But yes, it reminds me how much I need to catch up on before Lightfall and how much I want to do and play in that game and how Dreamlight Valley still keeps sucking me in.
It's a very addicting game.
It is, from what I hear. I'm scared to download it.
Well, now they have all the fun holiday stuff happening with their holiday. I mean, Merlin is in a Santa costume for crying
That
out
is cute.
loud.
That is
Sounds
cute.
adorable.
That's cute.
Have you been playing anything else?
Well, I downloaded the demo for Forspoken,
Oh,
but
I'm
haven't launched
very-
it yet.
okay.
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask you, I was gonna ask a couple questions. I'm so curious about that.
So I really want to play, but in full disclosure, not that it's already not apparent that I don't
Yeah.
play as much games as I would like because baby, but with the Game Awards last week, with Brittany in town doing our end of year production, our Game Awards reaction show, and now this show, there's literally been like zero time, and
Sure.
then the Destiny stream. So
No, we've been super busy.
yeah,
since
it's
I
been
got it.
very
Yeah.
busy. I haven't really slept, so that's a thing. But no, I haven't gotten a chance to play it yet. But you guys both dabbled in the recently released High on Life from
We
Squanch
did.
Games.
Yes.
We did. So I can say really quickly, I've only played maybe 2 hours, so not a lot of time.
First impressions.
First impressions. I did sit down on the couch in the hub world and started watching Tammy and the T-Rex because I know that
Oh
it's
my
a
God.
surprise to some folks that entire film, if you don't know it, Google it. The entire movie is in the game, like literally licensed,
okay.
and it's sitting on a TV screen, and you can sit down and watch it. And other characters in the room will comment on like, "Oh, I think they really did justice with this character," and I'm surprised
Tammy
they killed
the
them off.
T-Rex.
Yes.
That's a real movie.
Very,
It's a
very
real
random.
movie, and it's. I mean, they have also other content. They
Sure,
have
sure.
Hours of other content too, but
It's
that's
just
the long
a
movie.
fun, not quite Easter egg.
Yeah.
But for the game itself, it's fun. It's definitely a great experience if you're like, I just want to play something and sit down and chill. Have a little adventure game moment, maybe some things that I can do traversal wise, and there seems to be like some narrative threads that are hidden around the world that if you discover different waypoints you can get into. But again, it's early. I haven't had a lot of time with like opening the story up. I like the writing. I like the humor. I don't laugh out loud at it, and it's not my flavor, but I can understand how people be really excited to see, Rick and Morty in a video game. And I think it delivers on that. So yeah, it's been pretty fun.
It has one of the greatest intros I've seen.
An incredible intro.
So they've been
intro-
talking about how they don't want people to spoil the
I'm
intro.
not no
so
spoilers.
don't.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. No spoilers. But
Yes.
it was really cool to see the intro. It was really awesome, and I think it was perfect for this game. That's what I would say. I really enjoy the game. I really enjoy it.
How was the gunplay?
Because
Because that's the whole focus, that you have all these like
Yeah.
wacky guns.
so
right?
all your weapons are gonna be talking to you the whole time. You could
You
in
can
the
elect
settings.
to change how
Yeah,
often they talk to
I
you.
didn't know.
in the settings.
In the settings,
Okay.
you could put it as normal. Once in a while, they could talk, or just turn it off completely. It's up to you. But I feel,
Interesting.
but I feel like it's good to. I have it occasionally. We'll talk better than just having everything, because I after a while,
The stream of consciousness
It
that
was
is
just too
Justin
much.
Roiland's mind is
Mhm.
overload for you.
I felt like it was way too much.
It's an impressive amount of writing. However, it is a lot.
It's a lot. But I'll mention this, that the game reminded me of old school Mega Man, where you select the boss that you're gonna go and fight next. It reminds me of that. And plus, they'll mention a lot of stuff like old school games. They'll mention about like Lucky Tales. They'll mention Mario and other things too, man. I had a great time so far with the game. So I have like 8 hours already in.
Okay.
8 hours, yeah. I'm
That's a
enjoying
hefty
it.
amount of time.
Yeah. Boss battles is awesome.
They're great. Very interesting.
Really cool.
Very diverse set of like gameplay mechanics too, at least for the one boss that I've played. And I only have 2 weapons unlocked, if that gives you an idea of how far I am in the game. But there's an impressive amount of moving between different mechanics based on the weapons you have equipped. So it is a very much like it combines different play styles based on what you're holding in your two hands as the main character. And they do a really good job of communicating how you're supposed to beat the boss, but you could beat it however you like.
Yeah.
Which is really impressive. So there's some flexibility in the gameplay style there.
I mean, you could also change the difficulty if you feel like it's too much, but
sure.
I did try it out on the Steam Deck.
Oh.
Yeah. Plays good.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I prefer the PC,
and
but
I'm
yeah,
playing
Steam
on
Deck
an
works
Xbox
great.
Series S, and it's fantastic.
Also, it's on Game Pass, so you can
Oh yes,
play
we
that
should
too.
mention
Yes.
that it is a part of Game Pass. So if you are a Game Pass subscriber,
PC and console.
Yeah, so download it today. You can play it however you want.
Great game. Shout out to the whole team, and I think they did a pretty good job with the game.
Yeah.
it's going to be I think a little funny watching how people are going to react, because I think so far
It's
from
been
what I've
mixed.
seen that if you're not into Justin Roiland's humor, if you're not a Rick and Morty fan, if you didn't like Squanch's other titles, you know that this probably is going to turn you off, right? Like humor is a very subjective thing, and you either like it and appreciate it, or you're like, nope, I'm good.
But see, I like that humor. I like South Park, all that stuff. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But I was very curious. I went online to see like the people's reaction once the game came out, and it's been mixed so far. So.
And I will say, if you don't like that type of humor, there's a lot of it. So it's probably not a title you would thoroughly enjoy. Yeah. And while you can dial down your weapon commentary, you're still getting, NPCs walking up, like different
all
people
the other dialogue.
There's a lot of that writing, and there's a lot of that humor, which again, impressive, and it's really well done in that style. If that's not your jam, you might bounce off of this pretty hard. Even though it's a really, really competent adventure game.
I'll mention that I like the game because it's different. Because look, the majority of times we get to see like the same game over and over again. Everybody, serious, shooting, everything. But with this one, I feel like it was different. So that's why I enjoyed it, in my opinion, for me. So, yeah, go ahead. Try it out. It's free on Game Pass if you're a subscriber. So.
Yeah. That Game Pass. Always a good selection of games over there.
Yes.
Best value in gaming.
Yeah.
Exactly. Another game that came out that's free, actually free, you don't even need a subscription for it all, is Vampire Survivors on mobile.
Oh, yeah.
So this was an interesting release. I don't think any of us assumed that they would just be releasing it for free on mobile, but it's out now and you can check it out. But apparently it's not as good as the original.
So this was announced at the Game Awards, which was, again, a total surprise. Vampire Survivors, of course, was on a lot of people's Game of the Year lists and in different categories.
And was nominated for Best Debut Indie.
Nominated for Best Debut Indie. Definitely on a lot of my lists. Thanks to Danny, who introduced me to the game.
Game of the Year.
But what
Step aside, Elden Ring.
what I was very surprised with, and I tweeted about this in my first 5 minutes with the game, is that there's a lot of options to make it more comfortable for you to play on mobile that aren't very readily apparent. So when you first open the game, and it's, again, free on the iOS store, the Play Store, and Google, it shows you the game in vertical, and you can hit start and then just pick a character and start playing. Like, there's no startup time. It is super, super easy to get
in vertical, in portrait mode.
In portrait mode.
Okay.
So I tweeted about this and I was like, not the best experience. I wish I had that phantom joystick on the screen so I knew where my thumb tracking was going.
Right, that you get in the horizontal mode.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can change that in settings. So you have to go to settings. Then you have to go to page 2 of settings. And then you can toggle into landscape.
It's dead if it's on page 2.
Too many clicks. But it's toggled. So you can put in landscape right or landscape left, depending on which way you want your phone to tilt. And I guess depending on where you plug your charger or your headphones in. And then you can also toggle on and off the on-screen joystick. So that helped. It is still a little bit of a delay where, I'm moving to the right and it's just a slight moment off. And if you've played Vampire Survivors, you know how critical that moment is.
Yes.
In a bullet hell, like, that absolutely matters.
It's really tough. I've said this before in different areas. It's essentially a rhythm game, and anytime the rhythm's thrown off, it's hard. So it makes it a little bit harder.
Have you tried it with, like, the Razer Kishi or a Backbone yet?
Not yet, no. Yeah. Nor have I tried it with a paired controller.
I tried a tablet, my tablet.
So Danny's tried on tablet.
Yeah. And
with a controller or on the glass?
Mm-hmm.
On the glass.
Oh, and to be clear, I was trying on my Samsung Galaxy S21.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have the.
So you both tried it on Android?
Yes.
Of course.
Well, I know you guys are an Android household. Just want to make sure in case, maybe it operates a little
maybe it's
smoother
different
on iOS.
iPhone.
That's fair.
That's fair. It could be different, but I didn't use the options. I just had it how I have my tablet normal and landscape mode, and it was fine.
So it defaulted to landscape on the tablet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe it's different with that.
I would say that makes sense, but it doesn't, though. Every game is different on tablet.
Yeah.
But I had the same delay. That's the part. Look, I love Vampire Survivors. Like, that's, I think, the game that I played the most this year. Game of the year for me. But the part that was just annoying was just the delay. I had a better time Take your time, babe.
I'm good.
Aw, aren't they cute?
Yeah. The part where I had a better time playing this game was on the xCloud more than the tablet.
There was less delay on xCloud than on the native tablet app.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yes.
That's not great.
Not that great. Not great.
At least it's free. Yeah.
But you're right. I would like to test it out on the controller to see if it works.
Yeah.
But I didn't see any options of that. Did you? Or
to pair a controller?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
That,
it would take a little bit more doing, but as far as like instantly popping up and saying, by the way, better with controller, there was no messaging like that.
Because mobile games don't and they should not do that. Right. You should never make a mobile game that's better with a controller. Yeah. You fucked up.
Yeah. The only part where when it comes to xCloud, it gets a little bit complicated when you have a lot of enemies. The screen gets a little crazy. It's like a little bit too much for me. But when it comes to controlling the character, was a lot easier for me than the mobile version.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's okay. Good, not great.
Hey, it's mobile. Free. Try it out.
It's also in Game Pass. Speaking of Game Pass,
it's on Game Pass.
It just released in Game Pass a couple weeks back. So if you want to check it out there, you can. Of course, the vanilla experience on PC.
Great on Steam Deck. Really great on an airplane.
I purchased this game for $3.
Yes.
Maybe it's maybe $4 now, but
one could argue that they could easily sell that for $9.99 and people would still buy it.
And it was
and maybe they could get some more money to make more stuff.
The greatest investment of this year for me. It was the most addicting. And honestly, if you have a Steam Deck, must have for a Steam Deck. Must have. I think that's the #1 game for the Steam Deck right now. Still to this day.
I'm still hoping Santa is bringing a Steam Deck
underneath
my Christmas tree this
year.
No
luck during the Game Awards because it was like
you didn't win.
Free Steam Deck every minute and plus.
Well, you had to be watching on Steam.tv, and we were in the audience.
No, I think you just had to sign in and that's it.
I mean, if I had it up on my phone, maybe I could have done that.
The only thing, you have to be a Steam customer.
I am a Steam customer.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's people that tried. It was like their first time. And they were like, no, you have to be a customer. You have to buy a game in order to be
They're enter. Like, you have to have your credit card data in our system.
Yes.
We have to know you are.
I mean, with the speeches at the Game Awards, I thought people were going to get more Steam Deck, but no.
I did like just joke about that. Christopher Judge trying to get some more Steam Decks out there.
That was a good moment of levity.
That was definitely really funny.
Yeah.
So another big game that came out that's technically an old game, but one that I know a lot of us are excited about is The Witcher 3's next-gen update. So we all knew this was coming.
Greatest RPG of all time.
So, I mean, that's a big statement to make.
Yes.
Which we will dig into. And
clip that if you want.
The best RPG. The greatest RPG of all time? Well, how are you saying it?
It's just...
Say it as a definitive statement so we can have a good clip.
Okay. The Witcher 3, next gen or not, is the greatest RPG of all time.
Wow. He said
wow.
You could clip that.
Just laid it down like that.
Danny Peña from GamerTagRadio.
Look, I play that game on Xbox. I also play on the Nintendo Switch. I actually bought the game, played the whole thing. I even had more hours on that version than the Xbox version. And now I'm replaying again with the next gen update on PC.
Wow.
Even though
Wait, you're playing the next gen update on PC?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
For the first time.
That's hilarious.
The reason
for PS5 and Xbox Series X. You played it on PC?
No, but here's the thing. I just bought a gaming PC over a year ago.
This was your first time playing on
you
PC.
bought it? You just bought it over a year ago.
I just bought a PC. What?
Just bought it a year ago feels like.
Sorry.
Just the way you're communicating it. It's just
You know what
funny.
I'm saying.
It's just funny.
Yeah, I know. I'm a little.
Okay, so you're
it's the wine.
I mean,
but, you know,
no surprise that The Witcher 3 is great to play on PC. I think no one's shocked by that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Clearly.
It's looked great on PC the whole time.
Hey, look, I only played it for maybe 20 minutes or so, the next gen version, and it looks beautiful. Oh my god, graphically looks. I have a 4080 by the way, so I was like, I put the settings max.
Humble brag.
I know, right?
And it looks beautiful. Oh my god, they did a great job with the game.
That's great.
And I can't wait to replay it again with a different experience.
Third time around.
Third time.
So this is my sister's favorite RPG as well. So she has played. I can't say that. She's probably played Skyrim more than she's played The Witcher 3. It'd be a toss up maybe.
Skyrim is up there.
One of the best RPGs of all time.
Yes.
Which you can play on literally every platform that's ever been made.
Nintendo Switch.
And we were texting about it, and I had told her that I was waiting for this next gen update to go back and replay it. And she was like, "You mean play for the first time?" Because she was teasing me because she knows that I only put about like 15 to 20 hours in the game when it originally came out.
Only 15 to 20.
That is literally scratching the surface in The Witcher.
I have hundreds.
Yeah. I mean, thousands. A lot of people have thousands of hours.
Yeah, I have hundreds, not thousands.
And there's a lot of DLC content, of course. And it's obviously not the same as a Skyrim where there's like persistent stuff to go do all the time. It's a very crafted world, but it's still a very large crafted narrative world. And it's what made CD Projekt Red the studio they are today, right? It enabled them to make a new world like Cyberpunk, which we also didn't talk about Idris Elba at the Game Awards.
Oh my gosh.
Such
looked amazing.
Such a fun moment. So glad. He's great. I love him.
Yes.
I'm glad he's coming to Cyberpunk. But I have been waiting for them to do this upgrade because we all knew it was coming, because I was just like, I'm not going to go back at this point and play it on my PS4. Like, why bother?
Yeah.
So I'm excited to check it out and to play it and just add it to my list. I still have to finish Cyberpunk too. So
Andrea?
it's not like I have, endless amounts of time to play these RPGs.
The Witcher 3, to me, I'll put it up there with Skyrim. I put it up there with Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 6, which is 3 with the Super Nintendo version and everything. Those are my all-time favorite RPGs. The Witcher 3 is
so
amazing.
As someone who has never played The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
This is my moment. This is the time.
Yes.
Now's your
Yes.
time. I actually have played more of The Witcher 2 than I've played of The Witcher 3.
And let me tell you.
Also, amazing game.
The expansion, even better.
All right. Well, I'll have a brand new PC to play with it over the break.
And shout out to Yennefer, my favorite character in that game.
See, I've been reading the books.
She's hot in there and hot in the Netflix version.
She's incredibly hot.
Yeah,
the
for
actress
sure.
is killing
And
it.
in the books, also hot.
Yeah. And you know what?
Sure, you have to use your imagination, but she's a fun character.
Yeah,
in the
but
books.
no, honestly, I feel like the story is super strong, voice acting, graphics. I think somebody tweeted out recently, what is the game that has all 10s? I put The Witcher.
Oh, okay.
The
The Witcher 3.
The Witcher 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's inarguable that it's one of the greatest RPGs of all time.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But I appreciate that you've put your flag in the sand that it is the best one.
The best.
Yes.
You said it. It's going to get clipped. So
Yeah.
it's the truth.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong
Again,
with having an opinion like that.
Everybody has different opinions. I feel like that's the greatest for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
I love
nothing wrong
that.
with that. Yeah.
And that makes us happy because it's a
Yeah.
great game. And we can't wait to see more new Witcher, which is happening not next year, but beyond.
Well,
It's coming in the future.
They are working on a remake of Part 1.
Yes, they announced that.
Yeah.
We talked about that a couple weeks ago.
And they finally they announced that it's going to be similar to The Witcher 3, like open world, because back then Witcher 1 and 2 was very different than 3.
And
Yes.
the TV series is continuing. And
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
We're not going
I'm
to. That's a whole
major
nother show.
pause on that one because
There's plenty of ways to experience
I don't
Witcher
know how to-
content.
Yes.
if you
yes.
would like.
Yes, there are indeed.
yeah.
But that I think is going to do it for our show for this week, and that's our final live show of 2022.
Can I say something?
Of course you can.
I'm really proud of you girls.
Oh.
Doing content every week, right? And proud to see top 8, right?
Top 8. Yeah.
The only all-women podcast that's on the top 8.
That's in the charts at all.
In the charts at all.
Yeah.
In the charts in general?
Yes.
Wow.
So if you guys follow us on social media, you saw Brittany, Rihanna, and myself messaging that we recently charted in the top 10 video game podcasts in the United States. And, you know, if you don't watch the charts, which why would you? Because we do, because that's part of our job.
Sure.
We're in the top 30 to top 50 every week. And sometimes, you know, we break into the top 10 like we did this last week. And that's a big milestone for us because we are independently funded. You know, like we rely on our amazing patrons at patreon.com/whatsgoodgames. We rely on our fantastic ad team at Rooster Teeth. So the sponsors that come and support the show. And of course, our one-off, you know, partnerships that we get to do from time to time. But being independently funded means that we, you know, don't have the same amount of bandwidth to do as much content as these other people like, you know, IGN. Turns out they have a lot of people working over there. And even our friends,
production crew and everything.
You know, even our friends at Kind of Funny have a fantastic crew of people that they're working with. And, you know, people like, you know, Giant Bomb. We saw, you know, Lucy on the show, you know, just last week. She was wonderful. And we love being in their company and think it's really awesome. And it's tough, you know, sometimes for Brittany and I to keep the show going week to week. And Rihanna, you have been a immeasurable part of our success for this year. So thank you so much for all of your work with us.
I want to say that because you know we talked behind the scenes about like, oh, podcasting, what's next, you know, and I think the most important thing is for you girls and for everybody to just have fun and just create content, have great conversation, and I feel like the community is going to support you and share the content and be like, oh, you got to check out what's good, you know. So it's not only y'all doing the work, but also your community is spreading the word about the show too. So congratulations.
Those 5-star reviews make a huge difference, you guys.
So please take your time, review the show. It helps out a lot, and subscribe. And I can't wait for 2023 for you girls.
And I also want to say a quick shout out to people in the industry who support What's Good, because like we were just at the Game Awards. We saw a lot of old friends and people like Jeff Rubes from Xbox, who I know listens to the show. People like Keisha Howard from Sugar Gamers, who listens to the show. They come up and they say thank you for being that voice, because either me or the women in my life are like really, really need to hear more from you all. And there are times when we don't want to do it, and there's times when we're tired. There's times when you have baby and Britt's busy and I'm doing work late, and we just really have to dig deep in order to find it. And you all are what keep us going. So thank you. That really means a lot to us.
Like, without a doubt, you guys keep us going. To everybody who's sent emails or messages, like it all matters. Like I posted when I talked about the rankings lately. So thank you to everybody who has been with us and sticks with us. We have big plans for 2023, and we hope to do more. So hopefully you will continue to stick with us. And maybe the one gift you can give to What's Good Games this season is to tell somebody about the show. Say, hey, maybe open up that podcast app, whether it's Spotify or Apple or Google or SoundCloud or whatever you use, Blueberry. There's so many these days. Just open it up and say, why don't you hit that download button or that follow button, that listen button on your app to check out our show. We'd really, really appreciate that. And it doesn't cost you a dime. And on that note, don't forget to check out our What's Good Game Awards, which are happening next week. And then the week after, a fun one, the most anticipated for 2023. Lots of goodness coming. We will be back with a first live show after New Year's, so have a happy holiday season. Play some video games if you find some time. Or maybe just go touch some snow. I'd say touch grass, but, you know, it's winter. Bye, everybody.
Bye.